Hi, welcome back to our part two, the continuation of the previous part. Please click up on the description above and watch the part one so you can have a good transition into the continuation of this video. It's in the playlist, so you can go through the entire playlist and have a very good grasp on the beginning of this particular series. We're talking about OneDrive Sync and SharePoint Sync libraries and the issues that arise. So here, where I stopped in the last video was we were able to synchronize using the client agent called OneDrive Sync to synchronize the OneDrive of a particular user to the local machine. This local machine can belong to the person who owns the OneDrive or a domain joined computer. Also, a domain joined computer is simply a series of computers or devices, either desktop or laptops, that are managed by the internal IT of an organization. So they have Active Directory that are managing the identities of the users and also group policies on premises that manage those devices as well. They could also enable Intune, all right, Microsoft Intune, which is available in Microsoft 365 to cater for devices that are used by their users. So that is a different subject matter, which I would do a video on later on. But back to the OneDrive sync. So we have synced the OneDrive. How do we sync the library to our local machine? And the essence of syncing, right, is for um, to make it easy for you, the user, to access your documents on the go. Which means that whether you're connected to the internet service or not, you can constantly make modifications or edit your file, right? And once you're connected or plugged into the airport, say to the internet, maybe you're traveling, you buy a plane, you connect with a Wi-Fi, it automatically just uploads. That is possible because of the OneDrive Sync client. But we're going to come to see that there are certain limitations, all right, or restrictions that we have to be aware of. This could be the reason why you are currently experiencing some sync issues. So let us first see how we can sync the document library in SharePoint. Now, please understand that there are different scenarios that apply here. One scenario is we are using OneDrive. Another scenario could be we are using SharePoint. Both are cloud storages that allows for us to sync our respective document libraries to our local machine for easy usage. So let's see how to sync a library that is located in a SharePoint site. So I'll navigate to the SharePoint site I created in the previous video, and the site is called demo. The name of the document library is the default document library I'm using, guys. So I have it here called documents. Just for clarity, I'm going to create another one. So I'll click on site content. Remember what I told you about site content? Always go to the site content when you are either assisting to resolve an issue for a user. Always go to site content of a SharePoint site should you have difficulty understanding the entire framework or design or customization that they may have done, okay, on the site. Okay, so please note that this is just for this is just for demonstration. All right, it's not going to be as simple as this. You get the point. So here in the site content, I'm able to create a lot of things. I'm able to create all the kind of objects. All right, so I can create a document library object. All right, I can create a page object. I can create a list object on this particular SharePoint site. Now, every member that I have connected to this site, I can decide to use permission to give them respective permission level access to those respective objects. Okay, so let's see. So in the site content, once this loads, you're going to see on the top part a new button that will appear here. So the new button basically just, okay, so let me just, okay, let's come. So I'll just click on new, and then you can see all that I can create as the site owner. So remember that the global admin is not the site owner. The site owner of a SharePoint site is basically the person who creates that SharePoint site. So here I can click on document library. So let us assume that we're creating a document library for contractors. Okay, so I'm going to give it the name contractors when it populates. I could also create a list. As you saw, I could create an app. As you saw, I could create a subsite and so on. So I'll click on, I can choose from an existing library. So what it's going to do is that it's going to fetch all the existing document library that are on the tenant, basically from different sites and all that, that this user has access to, basically. I could also choose from blank library, just for demonstration to see um, what this one actually shows. Okay, so pretty much do not have anything because it's just a new tenant. And you can see from this particular hub, because this is a hub, the landing, I can choose variety of libraries. So let's go back. I'll just go back and choose blank library, guys. So in the blank library option, just for creativity, and like I told you, I'll just give it a name, contractors. So that's the name of um, okay, so I can just name it inventory instead. Inventory. So I want to have a document inventory. Okay, so I'll give it description. Um, Stores data for contractors and vendors. Okay, okay. Then I have the option to show in site navigation. It's optional. What that does is that it allows me and other user members that have access to this library to easily see it on the side navigation. I like leaving it there, but please, it's optional, guys. It's optional. So I'm creating my inventory document library. And like I told you, a document library just because it's labeled document does not mean that it's a document library. It's a document library by what? Exactly, by function. So you can see now I have created another document library called inventory, and it's a document library by what? Exactly, by function. So I'll click on the new button, and I'm going to now build my document library called inventory. So I click on new, and I'm going to give the first folder as contractors because I told you that's what I want to store here. Contractors. Okay, I'll give it a color blue. And then I'm gonna create another one. And you guess right what's gonna be there? Yes, vendors. Good job. Okay, I'll just give it this color. It's just preference, guys. Color coding is good for visualization where you have a lot of members accessing the same library. It helps them to easily identify, saves time, and improves productivity. So here on this library, I I go into my contractors folder, and then I want to create a file inside there, and I want to create an Excel file there. Okay, so I create an Excel file in it. I'm going to do the same for my vendors. Okay, okay, so let's give it. So I'll just go back and then navigate back to the library. Click on vendors and then also create. Okay, so in the vendors, I want to create. Just seeing if this one has loaded completely. It's still loading. Okay, so in this vendor, I want to create. All right, so let's just make it simple. I don't want to make this video so long as much as possible. So, so the first one, I don't have to allow it to finish loading. I could just close out. Okay, and then I can rename it. So I'll just refresh, and I should see my Excel book here. Okay, all right. So it's loading. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is the next thing we're gonna do is to sync the library to our local machine, and that syncing happens with the syncing happens with the sync client we have already downloaded and installed on our device. Okay, so how do we sync it? The way the document library is to go to the library level. All right, so currently I am on the library level. I am on the library level. So on the library level, I will see a sync button here that just appears a little bit above the the part. So you can see up, new, upload, edit in grid view, sync, and then add shortcut to OneDrive. Now there are two ways we can synchronize. We can synchronize by adding shortcut to OneDrive and then share it to someone else or a group. We can also use the sync client. Now the shortcut option saves um, it saves time and also improves efficiency of the system. By system, I don't mean your computer system. I mean the performance of SharePoint and the synchronization is faster. However, the sync client, right, in requires that you have to install it per device. In other words, it has to be installed on the device that you're using or the user is making use of. So that's pretty much the difference. For these, it just immediately creates a shortcut and then immediately allows you to what? Share it. So once you share it, people can access it and start collaborating on it quickly. So you can add a shortcut to OneDrive of this particular library. Okay. So if I want to add it to OneDrive, I will click on Add Shortcut or Sync. So let's see the Sync option first. All right, we'll click on Sync. So once I click on Sync, you immediately get the same pop-up that allows you to open the Sync client agent. So because I already have it installed, I just go ahead and click on Open. Now, if you do not get this pop-up, it's most likely you do not have the latest version. Hence the reason why this other next pop-up comes up saying install the latest version of OneDrive. Okay, so I'll click on Open. So it's opening and syncing this particular one library from the SharePoint that has the two folders contractors and vendors. I'm going to allow that to run, and then if I navigate to my file explorer, I want you to take note of my file explorer. And my file explorer basically where I have, you can see OneDrive hyphen my domain name is an indication that I have the OneDrive Sync client installed on this device. Now you can also see that I have a duplicate of it with a 1 at the end. Now this shows that I have two sync client on this device. Now by design, SharePoint and OneDrive allows you to only have maximum of 6 to 9 sync client on a single device. You cannot go beyond that. Okay, so which means as an admin or a global admin, I can sync different OneDrives if I want to troubleshoot it for my users. Then you notice that there is an enterprise logo that appears as well with the name of my domain. This shows that it is a document library. And once I click on it, you immediately see that it has the name of my site called demo hyphen the name of the document library called inventory. So if I click on this to expand it from the side navigation, you can immediately see my two folders, contractors and vendors respectively. I can open them as usual, and then you can see the various file that I have on it, and then I can start collaborating. Now I want you to take note of the status showing the cloud option. This is an indication that I only have this file on the cloud. All right, to save my disk space, I've enabled the file on demand, meaning that if I want to have a duplicate of this file on my local machine, I will have to do this. Click on it, and then it downloads a copy of it to my local machine, changing the status icon to a green check. The green check, anywhere you see it, is an indicator that this file called book, whatever name yours is, has a copy on the cloud and a copy on my local machine. The advantage of having this is that if I'm not connected to the internet, I would not lose my file. By losing, I mean I can still access it anytime. Now, the disadvantage of it would be that it will use up my local hard disk space. So you can imagine if you have folder of 1 terabyte that you have synced down to your local machine and you already have it to be by default, it's going to cause a lot of storage issues for you on your device. This is number one way you can have a synchronization issues. Trust me, you can have synchronization issue this way. So I can come here and then I'll change the name. I can change the name. Okay, I'll change it from the user. So I'll just add things here. Uh, like building it. Oops, sorry, guys. So just say serial number, then uh, business name, and then contracts needed. So just something just simple, guys. Nothing complicated. You get the point. Okay, so I'll just close. All right, so if I go back to the user who created it, that owns it, which is this user, which is this user. Okay, all right, and then I open contractors. So I'm going to just rename. Now you can see a few seconds ago modified by the global admin. Okay, so I just want to rename this. Okay, so it's syncing. All right, good. So if I come back to my file explorer, just after some seconds, this should change. If I refresh it, it should change from books to contract awards. What I am doing is that I always would want to confirm that there is a communication between the local machine through the sync client and the changes made on the cloud. That's what I always have to confirm. Okay, so I'll check the sync client. It hasn't picked it yet. So I'll open it or just go back a step. Click on it. Let's open it and see if I'll see those changes. Yes, so you can see guys that it has now changed to contractor words. So now if I go back to my file explorer, it should be showing contractor words. This can be a good troubleshooting step for you. So I open my, so this should change to contractor words. Yes, it has. And immediately you can see that the sync status is already trying to create a copy or this of the same version that I have on the cloud with the local version on on the machine. All right. So now let us look into possible sync problems that could arise. Let us look into possible sync problems that may arise. So one of the sync problems that could arise would be if I turn off as a global admin, I don't want users to be syncing their document libraries and SharePoint on their local machine because they complain a lot. There's been a high ticket raise of storage issues. Part of my job as an administrator, global admin in my company, or your own company will be to manage storage, guys. You have to manage storage. Now, there are a lot of things and factors around storage. Number one is storage is license dependent on the type of SharePoint plan that you have. For example, if you have, for example, you have the SharePoint plan 1, if you have a SharePoint plan 1 and you're a business Microsoft 365 business subscriber, the indication for that is that your OneDrive has a default storage of 1 terabyte maximum for all users, and you cannot increase that storage. So if your users are synchronizing their SharePoint libraries and OneDrive to their local machines, it will exhaust the sync client storage fast. So that's one issue that you can have. I cannot replicate this because I'm not using a business plan. I'm using a demo tenant that you're currently seeing that is running on, that is majorly just running on. Let me show you. So what I have is the E5 license. Now, the E5 license pretty much just has SharePoint Plan 2. So there are two plans, okay, that every subscription could possibly come with that allows you have access to both SharePoint resources and OneDrive for business resources. They are SharePoint Plan 1 and SharePoint Plan 2. SharePoint Plan 1 are by default only available in Business Basic and Business Standard, the business subscriptions. Then the Enterprise E1, okay, you will have SharePoint Plan 1. If you're using an educational tenant and an educational license, you will have SharePoint Plan 1 available on A1 license series. The same thing applies to finance subscription. F1 series only has SharePoint Plan 1. Okay, the GCC tenant, the GCC subscription, the GCC1 has SharePoint Plan 1 as well. However, the Enterprise E3, E5, the Educational A3, A5, all right, have SharePoint Plan 2 available by default. So this allows you as an administrator to increase the storage. So in the next part 3, all right, we're going to now see the different case scenarios that can cause a sync issue. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification so that you can get instant response or instant notification when I post a new video. Thank you so much for your support. All right, and watch the other videos as well. Bye.